Welcome to the Pearls of Wisdom podcast, brought to you by Southern Jewelry News and Jewelry Store Marketers.
We do fully fabricate from top to bottom. Do a lot of CAD work, a lot of 3D print work. On a daily basis, we're doing custom work, maybe B2B or for our direct customers or product development. So we're very busy in development products and creation. So half of my shop is devoted to the custom side of things. May it be new technology or new design products for next year. So we're constantly evolving and kind of pushing the line with bridal design. But Montoya Jewelry Designs primarily does retail and bridal and loose diamond. That's our focus, Guy.
Well, what tips would you have for other jewelers? Right.
I think it depends on the challenge, but ultimately we're stronger in numbers. So the vast network that you have, I think is critical. And there's plenty of great people in our industry that would love to give you the trick of 20 years that may take you a decade to learn. I think that having strength in numbers within the industry is one of those. May it be a buying group, maybe a network of manufacturers. You know what happens if you don't do anything. And so you kind of got to push and play, and you got to go to your local fundraisers, and you got to donate a little. So you got to spend some time. You got to immerse yourself in the community. I mean, as a small mom and pop, I think that's where we're at this stage of our company. We're able to get behind a couple of nonprofits, put our time and energy, and then just kind of take the next level of being within the community. You know, we live here. Our kid goes to school here. I mean, this is where we spend our energy. And so our employees spend their money here. It's just a part of where we're at. And I think that just kind of immersing yourselves is important in the community.
Right now, it's shaking up the market. Lab-grown diamonds are 4 to 1.
4 to 1.
Interestingly, dollar volume, they're the same.
Got it.
Well, I've been selling them for 8 years. So we started way back. I could see what was coming. Well, they're here. Yeah. They're not going away. And you have the choice of letting somebody else sell them or you sell them. But today, most of our customers walk in asking us about them, particularly the young people. And they walk in, they've got $5,000 to $10,000 to spend on an engagement ring. They can get a 1 carat. Now they can get a 3.5 carat. And they look at it, and 90% of them go with 3.5 carat lab over the earth mine. And yet you step up another 20 years and it all changes.
Exactly.
And I think if you handle it properly and you just explain it, which we took the approach back when we were selling them for 30% under earth mined of, look, these are not going to be the same as the time goes on. And let them make the call. Well, I think our focus is just what we've been doing with clienteling worked into that very seriously. And I mean, I'm recording everything, holding everybody accountable every week. And like anything, that's the most important thing about it, I think, is holding people accountable.
First of all, I have to give credit where credit is due too. I mean, it's very important to make money, but I do have Gabriella, who she really helps the background stuff, even coming here, with all my reports stuff. But, one of the things we did over the shutdowns, we did the auction, the online auction, ran a report, and it ended up being so successful that the fact that I wasn't open was almost unnoticed. And it cleaned up my inventory. So it was really nice. We were on Facebook. And Gabriella was at her house. I had my, at the time, daughter with me. She was 18. She and Gabriella, she'd take pictures in our gem light box and send them to Gabriella. Gabriella would number them. We'd have about a dozen pieces a day. And we'd go all day. And I'd go live in my living room like 3 or 4 times a day. It was entertaining for people. That's what their feedback was. but it was really successful, and it served a lot of purposes.
So that's Facebook Live selling.
Yeah. I think last year we did 2.
Got it.
We did one just in, I think, November.
Mm-hmm.
And we just do it for a week long. You know, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of backup work and trying to make sure you get prep work. And we don't have, you don't have that same, not the followers, but people aren't behind their computer sitting at home working. We do it a little, we tweak it a little bit. Yeah. But people love it.
Perfect.
And it's just any older pieces that we cannot move and can't trade in and can't, restock. Not gonna lie, there's a lot of good stories in that. Like we had just come back to the stores, and you delivered stuff outside, right? And so we did this auction, and I had this little oil fireplace, for the countertop, and I was like, yeah, let's move that out of here because I don't really do gifty stuff, but it was cute. Anyways, I had lit it and forgot I had lit it. And we went through, and my husband was right there because he was going to model the men's watch. And I didn't realize it was already lit. So we get to it, and I take the fuel, squeeze it. Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah. And I'm like, shit.
Wait, is this live?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is live. And I'm like, oh, my God. And I feel like an idiot. Now the bottle's on fire. Oh, my. And he's just looking at me going, what the hell did you just do? And I'm laughing, that nervous laugh. And I'm on the floor. He's trying to pick it up. And I'm like, don't touch it, on fire. He's like, I am not leaving it in here and having a fire. Exactly. And he's yelling at me. And I'm like, shit, I can't believe I did this. And then I went, oh, and I looked up, and one of my customers had come in. She was laughing so hard. And I just like this, went, so here's our fireplace. Don't do that at home. That was just an example. And we sold it just like that. But it was entertaining because of, things happen. And I'm like, I don't script myself. You can't script yourself.
Obviously service is a huge part of it. But I truly feel like they have to have that connection. They have to know, not that, that something's going to get done, but promising late, delivering early, all of those things are key components, but finding that connection and feeling like they truly have a friend. I wouldn't say anywhere these days, but you can get good service. It's out there. Right. But, what's that exceptional thing that takes you a little bit farther? And, in creating the store, we've set up the stores in a way that they can experience more here at the store. Which then kind of takes it above and beyond, hopefully, to then, we have them as customers for life.
We really want to just try to make everybody feel like family. Literally, right around this podcast, I just drove about 20 minutes south here to deliver an engagement ring for a gentleman that's leaving tonight for vacation where he's going to present. And I get down there, and he finds out that he had the wrong ring size. We thought she was a 5, where she's actually a 6. So literally, I came back to hop on here with you. They're going to size the ring, and then I'm going to drive it back down to him. So then, there's not a lot of places out there that can make that happen like that.
That's great.
Just something we'd like to do it. We're unique in our track record. If you go back and look at the style of jewelry we've done, we've always been that traditional high-end guild type jewelry store that specializes in promoting our own name. We've always been that way. We've been brand averse for years, and there's a very, very successful routes to go in the jewelry industry using brands. We have chosen not to do that. Everything that we have done has been done with the Underwood brand. We go directly to the source. We travel multiple times a year to India for our diamonds. We travel directly to the source for our colored gemstones. I travel to Europe for our fine gold. And everything when it comes in the store is under our banner, under the Underwood name. As you come in here, you're not going to see any other name other than the Underwood name. We have a full in-house design shop. We have multiple designers. We have 4 full-time goldsmiths in our in-house shop. We do all of our own casting with gold and platinum, all our own sourcing from the melee all the way to the center stone. Really from top to bottom, we do it. And I'll tell you, it was a very difficult route to go 20, 30 years ago when everything was brand oriented. And it was, people would come in asking, for different name brands, and that's just not what we did. And it's interesting to see the industry now shift back more, what I think, to its roots. And you're seeing more stores do the custom work and go into the one-of-a-kind pieces and having their own custom shop. But it is a tougher road to go. You don't have any inventory balancing. If you buy a dog or make a dog, you're stuck with it and you have to tear it apart. You don't have any co-op advertising. You don't have anybody that can help you with your campaigns and with your training, and you're doing all that yourself. But we find it very rewarding, and it's the way we prefer to go. And we've been blessed with the successes that we've had. We've won international design awards in Japan and in Europe and the United States, and had our pieces worn on the red carpet for both the Oscars and the Emmys. And for a little tiny store in Fayetteville, Arkansas, it's been fun. It's been very fun.
Yeah.
By the way, Fayetteville for the first time this week announced that in census they just hit 100,000 people. So we're been a small town, less than 100,000 people all these years, but we're starting to grow.
This will be our first full year rebranded as Joe & Co. So super exciting.
Yeah.
We honestly went just new website, new branding as far as like the interior of the store. The one thing that stayed the same were the people, and that was the key part. The way we did some of our marketing displays and just went with more consistent look. And but yeah, it actually was a very interesting process with my team that we can all read the same paragraph and tell you it means multiple things. So we all look at things differently, but got our heads together and decided on wall colors and case colors and new boxes. And it was a fun debate every time. That's the key, is how are your customers going to react? So that was the stressful part. We went from a name that was wonderful, but it'd been around since 1953 to our own entity. And honestly, we had more people when they came through the door. It was, oh wait, I know you guys. Okay, it's still the same people. That's all we wanted to know. And they loved the name. They said, oh, it just rolls off your tongue and it fits you guys with your, it's just fun and personable. And so it was very, very well received. For us, it wasn't that, our name was really well respected in the community. We'd been apart for years, but I had a wonderful business partner who, after almost 20 years as partners, I ended up buying out his half, and he still owned a store with the same name. So it was kind of like, it was our time to be our own and to let people know that the stores were different. And even that was a debate with the team, but in hindsight, we're all really, really happy with it. The logo, we had two completely different options, and I made the mistake of showing a handful of people the different options, which is the easiest way to confuse everything. But at the end of the day, I'm really happy with the option that we chose. I think the key to that is that I am very aware that I wouldn't be here without them. My team is really amazing. My manager's been with me for almost 17 years. She was a baby when she started. I was a baby when she started, actually. My assistant manager, almost 10 years. My brother, who keeps all the financial stuff straight, he's the one that keeps us rolling. My Jill, gosh, I can't say enough good things about my team. So if you're surrounded by good people, why try to do it all on your own? We are really good at looking at things differently and debating heavily. I'll word it like that. And then coming back to the table, we almost always end up with a solution that was kind of right in the middle of all of our opinions. but I think good people tend to surround themselves with good people. That being said, I went from at the store every minute of every day and doing the bench work and doing every component of the store, which at the end of the day, you can only grow so much, to having people who had the potential to do it, but turning over that, delegating, that's a hard thing. And you have to realize that people are going to do things a little bit differently, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. And, but at the same time, being there to encourage them and teach them and know that they don't learn what you know overnight. My staff, we'll go line dancing together. Now, I just get out there and, move. Those girls they can roll with it. So we do, we genuinely, they really like each other. So we do things outside of work together, but then we do, we're getting ready to do an event. I'm raising money for the Virginia Breast Cancer Foundation. And so I have a friend who owns a restaurant, and he's like, come in, invite people. It's kind of like a bar invasion, really. Just people are going to come and hang out, and we like each other as employees, but we actually really like our customers too. So, our customers are our friends, and we're just going to go hang out and raise some money, and it's going to be fun. So I have always grown up in this area. I have not had the fortune yet to live on the lake, but so yeah, I've kind of encompassed all areas of the lake and surrounding area at some point in my life. I think our industry is, especially with technology, constantly changing, and just keeping up with, what's going on. Okay, now we have AI, and when we first started, I had dial-up, it's all these things, just really the technology. I think we do a pretty good job. And with social media, we're, trying to crush it. But that changes constantly. So just keeping up with the changes. So I would say it's been probably about 8 years now. And, honestly, as far as growing my business, understanding, keeping up with what's going on in the industry, that's really been insightful and helpful. Having a pulse, I look at vendors, a lot of vendors, and just kind of hearing what's going on in the industry, talking. RJO as a whole has been a godsend in growing my business. Definitely being part of that committee, it's something I'm really proud of. It's a lot of work, but I've learned a lot from it.
Smaller jewelers trying to figure out how all of this really affects them. But of course, the price of gold keeps going up. So what if the price goes to 25, 26, 2700? What happens to the small local jewelry store?
So one of the things you'll see, I think, is the price points that they sell won't change. What will change is what fits those price points. And suddenly silver is going to become very important. Remember, in 2008, most fine jewelry stores didn't sell silver. Pandora was the only silver product that they had. Right. And the response was I was building flyers for Gems One at the time. And boy, did I ever load up on silver and silver diamond jewelry. Because the consumer's got $500 to spend, there's not a lot of gold you can buy.
Right.
And, you look at beautiful lines like Shy Creation that use, 15 points, 25 points, 40 points of Melly, right? That's a lot of their swing plane is there. As the cost of the gold mounting goes up, even though the cost of the diamonds has gone down some, they're going to lose their price points. And what I would say is one of the options is to discount, but I think that's dangerous, because if you achieve the price point by reducing your margin, you will slowly but surely hemorrhage equity. So what the small jeweler in particular needs to do is to refocus on non-gold items. That's just a reality. The other thing I would say is that if the hyperinflationary scenario starts to play out, and remember, so here's where we are. We're in this incredibly weird place. One of the one of the fundamental precepts of Keynesian economic theory is something called the Phillips curve that basically says there's an inverse relationship between the inflation rate and unemployment. When unemployment is low, inflation can be high. When unemployment is high, I mean, we've got this weird scenario now where we've got, pardon me, when they both will either be high or low. We now have a scenario in which we have high inflation and high employment. And that doesn't make sense. It breaks the Keynesian rules. But because all that debt has to be refinanced, and also because most of the banks in America right now are underwater. And when I say that, what I mean is they've got commercial real estate loans that are not performing, and they were made at very low interest rates. So they now can't take that loan and sell it at par value to another bank. The other bank is going to demand that they discount it dramatically because the interest rate was so low. They can make a lot more money today. So the Fed is being forced to drop interest rates, even though clearly inflation is not getting beaten. So, I'm telling you this, and the politicians aren't talking about this because they absolutely, can you still see me? I see my internet.
Yep. So, we're good.
The politicians aren't talking about this because they're not going to offer to fix it.
Right.
And the news media isn't talking about this because it's not in keeping with their narrative. But I can tell you these things are real. So for the small jeweler, well, you know what? It's a hidden tax that the government makes on us.
Right.
In fact, I will tell you, I don't think many of your listeners know much about Bitcoin. But what we're actually describing are the primary reasons that I think the world may be flocking to Bitcoin.
Right. Right.
But I think back to your question, because it's important, Guy, reconfigure your price points so you can maintain your margins and still have a nice piece of jewelry to sell at whatever the important price points are in your store.
So when you...
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and the other thing is be ready to advertise We Buy Gold. Because if gold shoots up further, the arguments to buy gold are there. And remember, our whole industry shifted to white gold 15, 20 years ago, and that hasn't melted yet. Right. So I think there's going to be a tremendous opportunity if the economy starts to unravel to replace at least part of that critical revenue stream with actually buying gold dollars.
Wow.
Well, I'd love to say it's because we have amazing jewelry that everybody loves and wants it all the time. I think we do work really hard on selection, but I also think it's the attitude and the energy that people have when they come in here. I think it's really important to bring energy to the person walking in, rather than waiting for the customer to be excited. We sell something that no one needs. So, we have beautiful rocks and pretty metal, and it's up to us to really value the person that's walking through the door. For me, when I look back on it, it starts with point of sale. I remember handwriting tickets, and for me, when I have to key something in, my memory isn't the same as when I write it down. The ability to use and to clientele to do a lot of different things with the computer and technology is really important. Definitely having that work ethic. As small business owners, I don't care what industry you're in, we take on a lot of responsibility, whether that's, cleaning toilets and taking out the trash, to paying bills and working with customers, and always that continual learning. Though for me, that is the most important thing. I love to be involved in this industry. It is hands down, I'm unemployable anywhere else. I always say that because I absolutely love this industry. So being involved, knowing, having other jewelers to talk to, having your longtime vendors that, your reliable relationships with, I think that's so important. But you're always expanding. And I think the custom hands-on approach with our clients is really important. I think that creates so many stories, and that's what jewelry is all about at the end of the day. One thing that we do with television, we have our local ABC affiliate. They do a morning talk show similar to Good Morning America, and we're on that probably at least once a month.
Oh, really?
And that is a fantastic, I've done it for, we've been talking to them for easily 15 years. But it does let people see your voice and see your face, hear your voice, and really get familiar with who you are. So people a lot of times think they know us, which is what I think is really important. We want them to feel comfortable coming in the store.
Thanks for listening to the Pearls of Wisdom Jewelry Podcast. For more information about the show, please visit southernjewelrynews.com/podcast, brought to you by Southern Jewelry News and Jewelry Store Marketers. Make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you can catch the next show. See you then.